Here's an example. You and I, let's say we declare that we want a relationship where we both feel admired, appreciated, loved, romanced, affectionate throughout every day. We both think that would be a great idea. Why not? That would be better than a poke in the eye. So we both agree to that, and then we have to decide, how do you want your love, appreciation, admiration, and so on. It's I serve you according to what you want. You serve me according to what I want. Now, here's the real hard question that most people will answer no to. Do you do this throughout every day, even if you're angry with each other? Based on what I'm talking about, the answer has to be yes. Do you do this throughout every day if you hate each other? Yes. Do you do this if you're not feeling well? Yes. Do you do this if you're about to split up? Yes. In all cases, this is purpose centered. It must be done. And therefore, that's awesome. Tracy and I, my wife, my partner, we have an agreement that we can go to bed angry, but we have to at least touch toes. That's the minimal. And I tell you, that can be really hard because the last thing I want to do if I'm really mad at her is touch her. I want to punish her. But we have the agreement, and it's there regardless of how we feel. It must happen, and it does. And life is better for it. So when you create a purpose-centered life, that's when all things are possible. All things are possible because you're not basing it on whether you feel like it or not. The idea here is we choose the best thing we can do or the right thing we decide to do, even though it may be the hardest thing to do. That is a mature, grown-up character life. And that's a hard thing to get people to think about because most people are organized around emotion. This purpose-centered living is what protects emotions. It's what allows good emotions to exist. Otherwise, we do harm to each other.
It's interesting. So there's almost like a rudder that's holding, like creating a safety. That toe touching, like it's not just about the toes touching, it's about the like, we're coming back to the baseline agreements that we're making and we're honoring them. And I'm still here, even though I'm kind of mad at you, my toe is touching you with love.
Right. I'm mad at you, want to strangle you, but we're okay. On an existential level, what we need for health, because human primates have a definite existential issue with not knowing whether their relationship will exist tomorrow or not. And when people fight, there's always that idea somewhere deep in our brain that the relationship safety and security is in jeopardy. We're okay. I hate you, but we're okay. Is all we need to relax.
Yeah, it almost feels like the nervous system, the attachment system in that moment would just be like, okay, I can be angry and in my process, but we're going to wake up tomorrow. And yeah, that's really interesting. I've never thought of the significance of what seems like a minute detail is actually maybe the main, most powerful glue that actually holds the relationship together because it's such a humility even in a toe touch.
Oh man, I have had trouble with all of these principles because I have to live it. I've had difficulty applying it with my daughter. When I say it isn't easy, I mean it. It's not supposed to, anything worthwhile isn't supposed to be easy. If you really want something, then you have to override it when it's the hardest to do as the best thing. That's hard, but I'm sure glad that I have to do it. And when I say have to do it, partly because I agreed and partly also because I have to walk the talk. And so does Tracy and so does my daughter. So it is hard because of being human. But every time we fulfill these agreements and adhere to them, our self-esteem goes way up because we did the right thing.
The integrity, the alignment to our values, both individual and collective. And if you're creating a purpose as a relationship, I would imagine also that then would feel like the personal expression of purpose as well. Like you have your own, but the fact that you're committed to one relationally would strike me that you'd be very motivated to committing to one individually.
Yes, and the reason you're doing it is because of the agreements. We don't have these agreements with anybody else. Therefore, any sign or a sense of devotion to us is an illusion because that's based on agreements that, you better not do it because you don't want me doing it, so let's not do it. We're bound as a couple to protect each other's interests. The world is not. And that's part of the reality is that we exist in an unkind world that does not have our interests, and that will be proven again and again when the chips are down. Therefore, we're going to stick with each other. We're going to be in the foxhole together. Together we survive and thrive. And that's our agreements. And that is worth, I don't know how you could put a value on it. It's a decision to do something extraordinary, even though you're stuck with the ordinary. Here comes in the maturity of picking one thing and committing to it. You don't do it because it is the only thing or even the best thing. You don't know. You haven't surveyed everything, but it's good enough. And the reason we commit to something is because we want to learn about ourselves in the commitment so that we can explore the novelty in the ordinary. We can explore the complexity in something that seems so simple and something that seems already, we think we know it, right? We think we know this person, and therefore there's nothing more to learn. And so it's really a self centered pursuit to focus on or choose one person to devote yourself to so that you can actually explore yourself, learn yourself through learning another person. That's a choice based on rising above the rest. I'm ready to play chess instead of checkers.